Yudalef Nisan Tafshin Mem Hey. Tafshin Mem Hey, we all know that on Tammuz, base Tammuz, that's when the Rebbe spoke to everyone, Borabim, and he said about what happened with the library. This went on, Yechidus, Parshas Balak, Parshas Pinchas, and then when things moved to the courts, the Rebbe didn't speak about it anymore. But here's something very interesting. The Rebbe himself, when he spoke about it in Beis Tammuz later on, so he mentioned that all this started around Yud Shvat. But the Geneva began around Yud Shvat. And went on. Here's something very interesting. Something that the Rebbe didn't speak about it all those years. Yudalef Nisan Tafshin Mem Hey. The Rebbe has been farbringing on Yudalef Nisan since Tafshin Lamed Beis, 72. Tafshin Mem Hey, the Rebbe said something that he usually didn't speak that way. The Rebbe said that there is something that is bothering, and there's a question. And what is the question? Hayitachen, we making such a simcha and such a celebration of one individual. All the years you didn't see the Rebbe speak that way. And the Rebbe went in to speak, how you have to be so careful of gaiva. The only thing that's allowed is maybe shminis, shminis, and eight of 8. And hayitochen, we're doing all this. So the Rebbe started to explain. And there were oisias that the Rebbe said then that this is almost the introduction and the preview before all these things start. The Rebbe said that there is a beinkel. He said these words. He says the Frierdiker Rebbe is not here. Begashmius is not here. And b'meile, somebody has to continue. The Rebbe publicly speaking all these things. The Rebbe used the word of Eved, I am a servant. And the Rebbe spoke about the Beinkel. And then the Rebbe he smiled and he said a story that he heard in the Cheder, that there was once a Rav, that he was short and skinny. And people asked him, how do you have the strength to make your psakim? At that farbringen, the Rebbe didn't say who it was. But in another farbringen, the Rebbe said that was the Neider Yehuda. The Neider Yehuda was short, skinny. So he answered and he says, yes, I am short and skinny, but I have a large beinkel. And that's what gives me the strength. And this is what the Rebbe said, that if wonderful things could come out from making this celebration from the Alf Nissen, but there were oisias then that I remember we were talking, people were talking after that farbringen, because the Rebbe never spoke about this. Well, obviously something was happening, but the Rebbe is saying things. Looks like there is some controversy, something. But this was Yudalef Nisan Tafshin Mem Hey. And we know what went on later on, what happened in Tammuz. The Rebbe went into the details. But at the same time, when the court case began, the Rebbe was demanding two things together. that it has to be the inyan of simcha, and the same time is to continue and doing all these things. Just want to say it in short, the Rebbe then said, he was in Tafshin Mem Vav, when the court case began. There was a Farbrengen, Pashas Miketz, and that Shabbos, the Rebbe spoke, and the Rebbe said that we have to have simcha. Well, by the way, something very interesting. At that Farbrengen, before the Rebbe said a Maimon, and then the Rebbe stopped saying Maimorim with the song. It was a Maimon Kein Sicha. But before the Maimon Kein Sicha, he gave a whole long introduction. And the introduction was that he's got a Chazer Maimon from the Rasha, from Tov Rishon Vav. And the Rebbe starts saying there's a question that's being asked. Why are you chazering something from Tov Rishon Vav when the whole Maimer is based on Teira'el? So why not say l'chatchila the Alter Rebbe's Maimer? Why are you kriching? Why are you saying other types of Maimerim when you have the original? It's an amazing, if you look in these values, the introduction, Miketz Tov Shin Mem Vav. And the Rebbe says, how by Chassidim, when you have a Davar Chadash, that encourages you to learn. But there's no question, there was a hint here, also about, I don't want to say that, but why learn the Rebbe's Maimorim, all these things? You got Teira'el, you got Alter Rebbe. But that was the introduction then. And then he said the Maimon. And then later, he started to speak about the idea of simcha. You have to have simcha. And therefore, he's going to do something special. Ani amaschil, the Rebbe said. Therefore, Motzei Shabbos, there's going to be a Farbrengen. And the Rebbe said, the Mashpim are supposed to Farbrengen that night. Anyone that remembers, there was the Mashpim Klalim. Avon Mayor, Shiakov, and Rebbe Chaim. They were scheduled to Farbrengen that night. So the Rebbe says they will nicht Faribel haben, and they should Farbrengen tomorrow morning. By the way, that's very interesting. The Rebbe said, by the way, tomorrow morning, Zeis Chanukah was Sunday. That tomorrow morning they should Farbrengen. The Rebbe Farbrengen that Motzei Shabbos. And that Farbrengen, if you go look up that Farbrengen, the Rebbe's touched almost everything. The Rebbe touched a Kittub. There is a Kittub. The Ma'asim Titus Kislev. And the Rebbe has so many questions. And the Magid and the Alter Rebbe came to visit. The Magid and the Baal Shem Tov came to visit the Alter Rebbe. And the question is, it was such a small cell. Was there enough room, begashmias, for the two of them? It's amazing if you think about it. It was such a small cell, but the Gashmis is probably, the Rebbe spoke about it. There's no room for the Baal Shem Tov and Magid to be there. Is it possible? And the Rebbe said it has to be there with the Begashmis there. Because if there were not Begashmis, how could they paskin that he should continue and be Meifitz Teres Achsidis? Because Teres by Shemaimi. It has to be that there will be Gashmias down here. And the Rebbe goes in to explain that's the whole story, how Rebbe came after he passed away, he made Kiddush. It has to be, was Begashmias. And the Rebbe went into this whole thing of the Kittub, and the idea is that we want Meifit Zayin. And the Rebbe started to say, and therefore, an album should be created from all the activities of Hanukkah. It was mamish so important to the Rebbe. And that's what happened. There was an album that came out, Let There Be Light. It's interesting, fast forward a year later, the Rebbe again spoke about giving out an album. So anyone that remembers, it's a different name. And there was light. The year before, let there be light, now and there was light. The Rebbe came back. The next day, the Mashpim Fabren in the morning was Freilach, as I remembered, it's been repeated so many times. Some Chassidim, some Al Chaim, there were Kulis. The Rebbe went to the Ohel. The Rebbe came back before Shkia. It's a whole story. Making Kulis while the Rebbe is walking in. But anyways, the Rebbe announced he gave Zayin HaKurze Fabrengen. This is 3 Fabrengens in a row when during these hard times of the court case. The day of Shabbos, Kates, what's a Shabbos, and then Sunday night. And again, by the Fabrengen, the Rebbe spoke, and Bafton, and all these inyanim. The following year, right before Hey Tevis, an amazing thing on its own. Just to make sure, I made a copy of this. An amazing thing. This is not how the Rebbe would address things. The Rebbe never praised everyone and said, how wonderful you did. What we all know, the Rebbe said, come on, you need to do more. What do you mean? You can't be satisfied in what you're doing. Here's an amazing thing. And that happened 2 times. When the Rebbe spoke to the children, Ne'ev of the Chanukah, Tavshin Mem Zayin, the Rebbe said you have to be mefalsim all over. You should be used these days of Chanukah, from Pirsumei Nisa. And then the Rebbe said like this. I remember then, and I remember when I was talking, the Rebbe said it's very important, mitzvah lefalsem eisem mitzvah. You need to publicize all these things. And the Rebbe brought out, if Reuven, the famous Maimel Azal, if Reuven would have known what the Pasuk wrote of him, that he wanted to save Yosef, he would have made sure and saved him. If he would have known that this is what's going to be written about him. Says the Rebbe, therefore it's kedai that everyone should send pictures for everything that would happen on Hanukkah to be able to mefasten that. Then, on Zeis Hanukkah, Miketz Zeis Hanukkah, the Rebbe says, after all the Aveda of Hanukkah, and according to all the Yediyas we received, it was Kedebai Lemevet. It was as it was supposed to be done. You ever heard praises of the Rebbe that way? And the Rebbe says it was Hatzlacha Gedola. L'mayla mikfi hameshua. The Rebbe praising everything that was done. And no question that will be a Pulanim Sheches in a Eifen for Mailim B'Kodesh. This is Shabbos, and just 3 days later, on Tuesday, was the announcement from the courts of דידן Notzach. All that is connected. The Eibishter should help that we should be able to live with the Rebbe, the Pearl Mamish, day by day, and be able to do everything what the Rebbe wants from us. And the main thing is that very soon we should be zeicha to be with the Rebbe, Dol, Lamato, Masor, Tfachim, Bekorev Mamish. Chaim, Chaim. The Fabrengen will continue
now in a sitting down way. So everyone come closer, and we're going to move the tables closer. We're going to continue the Fabring.
Making a square circle. Making a square circle.
Close. Exactly.